Hey guys, Lauren here. I'm so excited that you're watching this video today. And I hope you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel because I got a ton more coming your way. So today I wanted to talk about how do you know if you need to upgrade your friends. Now, when I say upgrade your friends, I don't mean change your friends or switch your friends out for new ones. Well, sort of in a way. But we all get to these points in our lives where our friends just aren't doing it for us anymore. Maybe we've changed interests, maybe we've grown and they haven't. And, it's just time to find a new tribe. And it's time to find new people to surround yourselves with. So how do you know that it's time to upgrade friends? Now, this is pretty easy. You probably should know. But it's just any time that you feel like, hey, our interests changed. Maybe it's not so fun to hang out with them anymore. Or maybe you feel like you've grown in certain areas and they've kind of stayed stuck, and you kind of feel like you're just waiting around for them to improve, but they're not quite doing it. And you're just kind of hopeful. So any signs like that where you just feel like, you need a fresh start, you need to move on, and it's kind of a difficult situation to be around them. Maybe also they aren't respecting your boundaries as much anymore. Basically, anytime that you feel like your boundaries aren't being respected, maybe your interests have changed, or you're just tired of waiting around for friends that don't show up. Those are all great times for a friend upgrade. And when I say friend upgrade, it's really not a bad thing. At the end of the day, we change friend groups all throughout our lives. You already probably changed friend groups like 20 times. And it just happens. And I think when we try to beat ourselves up and feel like we have to stick with these people through thick and thin, that's just, it's unrealistic. Those expectations are too high. You change, they change, your boundaries change. You just go through different phases in life, and sometimes you just don't mesh anymore. And that's totally okay. So how do you make these new friends, these upgraded friends, friends that are more on the same page as you? Now, I always start with myself. And I'm going to give you guys a couple tips on how you can change what you're doing and change something about your energy so you start attracting similar people into your life. So the first thing you can do to attract better friends is to show up. And this one is a huge one because I feel like a lot of times we lose friends because they don't show up enough, or we want to see them more often than they want to see us. And, that's totally okay. You have to kind of know that with this one, everyone has different levels of wanting to see each other. Some people can go like 6 months without talking and then hang out and be like best buds. Now, other people, sometimes they need to see you more often to feel like friends. And maybe that's kind of where you're at is, my friends they don't want to hang out as much as I want to hang out. Or maybe your friends want to hang out too much and you just need somebody who's going to call you up only every once in a while. And so it's important to figure out kind of where your boundaries are. What do you like? Or how often do you like to see people, and start doing that for others. Now, if you come across a friend that's just not willing to meet you as much as you'd like to meet them, don't try to change them. Don't try to force them into hanging out with you more, because it's not going to work. Know that everybody needs different amounts. If you come across new friends or even have old friends that just aren't wanting to hang out the same amount as you, that's just a sign that this friendship might not work out, and that's totally okay. You're going to find people and attract people that want to be on the same page as you. So my second tip for attracting new friends is to be present. And when I say be present, make sure that when you're hanging out with this person, that you're actually hanging out with them, and they'll do the same for you. So when I say be present, I mean actually listening to what they have to say, remembering old conversations that you had and asking for updates. Taking the time to actually be there with them. You're not on your phone, you're not checking Facebook, you're giving them your 100% attention. And in that same boat, we want to make sure that we're not attention hogs. You hate the friend that shows up and can only talk about themselves, and they don't know how to engage other than just talking about what's going on in their lives, and they never ask you what's going on in yours. Don't be that person, because you're going to just attract more of those people. So make sure when you're hanging out with your friends that you're actually hanging out with them, you're present, you're interested in what they have to say, and make sure they reciprocate that back. If they're not, then again, time to upgrade friends. Now, part of this is specifically for introverts. Now, sometimes being present with people and having to, give your full attention can be super draining. So make sure that, even though you are giving your super attention to them, that you're still keeping your boundaries up. And now, something that I found that I've liked, I used to hang out with people in big groups because I used to think, oh, I can get them all in one go and I could talk to everybody. But because I was doing that, I wasn't giving everyone my full attention, and none of them really felt like real friends that I could go talk to. So now I hang out with people in just groups of 1 or 2 people. Now, it's totally up to you. If you're an extrovert and you can totally manage hanging out with that many people, awesome. But just something to try. Hang out in smaller groups so then you can be more attentive to each person and you can make them feel more like you care about what they're saying and you can be a better friend to them. Now, my third tip is to definitely keep in touch with these new friends or old friends if you're trying to improve a relationship. And the key to this is just, yes, you hang out with them and give them your full attention, but it's also super important that you take your time off into yourself or to see other friends. But during that time, sometimes we neglect relationships and we just never message somebody. So it's good every now and then just to send like a happy birthday or like, hey, I saw this in the store, thinking about you. Obviously, that's a little creepy, so don't say it like that, but just let them know that you're still there and you're still thinking about them. And hey, maybe I'm too busy to hang out right now, but that doesn't mean we're not friends. And you would be surprised how little things like that actually go a long way into keeping a relationship together. The opposite side of that is don't bug people too much. Now, sometimes you'll have somebody who's constantly texting you in between hanging out and you feel like you never actually stopped hanging out with that person. It's important to give them their space so that, if they are introverted, they can just take some time back to themselves to, hang out with other friends, whatever it may be. So those are my 3 tips. Now make sure with all of these tips that you are getting these things in return. If you're putting the energy out of being present, making sure you're staying in contact, and you're actually initiating showing up and hanging out, you want to make sure you get that in return. And this is where we sacrifice too much. We end up giving this, but our friends don't give it back, and we just kind of sit around and hope that maybe they'll show up and maybe they'll, change, but sometimes they don't. So it's very important that we make sure that our boundaries are taken care of and we are getting this in return. Now, my last piece of advice is to not freak out when things don't work out. Sometimes you'll put in all of the effort and that person just doesn't reciprocate. Maybe they're not interested. A lot of the times, they maybe don't want to be friends anymore, but they just don't know how other than to not answer you or to not show up or to be really flaky. And, take that as a sign of them just not knowing how to healthily break off a relationship. And it's okay. You're going to find people that work for you. And, if somebody just doesn't fit anymore, know that you're upgrading. Know that someone better is on the way. And know that when you're trying to make new friends, this isn't going to happen overnight. Now, I know we just get into periods where we just kind of really need to detox and just get rid of a lot of people in our life, maybe because they're just not very healthy for us and we've decided to be a little bit more healthier, whether that be physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is. And just know that this doesn't happen overnight. And so sometimes, you have to put in the effort to find new people. And, think about when is the time you've made the most amount of friends. And it's usually when you can see people over and over again. So, when you're going to classes a lot, when you're doing, pretend you do recreational volleyball or soccer after work every day. You make friends at work. You make friends where you see people a lot because, you're not just going to walk into a bar, start up a conversation, and be best friends, and walk out and hang out the next day. I mean, sometimes that happens and when 2 people vibe really well, but, if you really are wanting to make new friends, it's really important to just get out there. And I always say to find the people that have the same interests as you. So pretend you just like wish a lot of your friends went camping more, and you're so outdoorsy, and all of your friends are kind of like couch potatoes and all they want to do is play video games together. You know, do some sort of recreational outdoor class where you can meet people, you know, once a week for like 4 or 5 weeks or something. You know, take up rock climbing and meet people in the gym. Take a cooking class and meet some of the people that you end up cooking with. You know, finding things along your interest level, you'll end up finding people that are more aligned to you and your energy. Awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just make sure that with any of this, when you're trying to upgrade friends, that you're making sure your boundaries are being respected, because ultimately you want to attract people who are going to respect you, support you, love you, and be good friends back to you. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more videos coming your way. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks, guys.